It's time. It's time for Fire Mountain again. Welcome to Fire Mountain this Sunday evening. It's a crazy special one today. It's a risky one because there is no Richard Garton. It's just me and...
It's me,
my
too,
broski.
but no Richard.
No Richard. So you don't know how much effort it took us to get online today, to get this recording in the bag, because we had a few tech issues, didn't we?
Yes, we did. But we got there.
Look, there.
We're on.
Who needs Richard?
We're working. We've got sound. We've got video. We're flying.
Oh, yeah, we're flying. I like your confidence. Anyways, I hope you had a great week. Obviously, since our last recording of Fire Mountain, we've been through some kind of tumultuous times, which is kind of the norm now, isn't it, for our society?
Yeah, well, we've got another Prime Minister. This is the 43rd in as many weeks or something like that.
In 2022.
Yeah. So many Prime Ministers.
I feel a bit kind of annoyed because obviously on this programme I was backing Liz Truss. And still, I would want to keep her. What are your thoughts on it?
Would you keep Liz Truss over Rishi Sunak, would you?
1,000,000%.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Because I think there's more to society than just the economy.
Okay. You think that's all you think that's the only thing he's got in his bag is the economy?
Well, it's not even that I think he's got that in his bag. I think, and you hear it here, that he's got this globalist agenda. That's what I think about Rishi Sunak, right? And I think actually his leadership will help elites and will help big tech and big business and all that sort of stuff.
You say that, but didn't Liz Truss's mini budget try and do exactly that? Like it was all about
tax breaks.
easing the tax breaks for rich people, and promoting business, and obviously, and she lost a job because of it.
I mean, I can't lie. You're right. I mean, but I just think that if you look at a true conservative agenda, I think Liz Truss was more true to true conservatism than Rishi Sunak. But that said, I was talking to someone the other day who was saying, and I know Richard is saying this, that if there was a general election, they'd be backing Starmer now. Are you one of those?
No.
No?
No.
Okay.
I don't think I would ever back Starmer, actually. Should I say that? No. I don't feel a connection to Starmer at all.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't particularly like Labour policies generally.
So you are more anti-Labour than anti-Starmer, or are you just anti all of that? I mean, surely because there's a great argument to be made that Christians should be more socialist,
socially
right?
minded. Yeah, I think there is room for that. I did economics A level.
Oh, I didn't realise we had an expert on the programme today. That's great. You never told us that. You did a BTEC in what?
I got an A level in economics. I got an E.
Okay.
I got an E in my economics.
You're supposed to spell the word. Is that what you were thinking? Okay.
Actually, my teacher was really pleased that I got an E. Do you remember Mr. Bleach?
Yeah, I do actually.
He was my teacher. On the day I picked up the results, he came up to me and shook my hand and said, "Well done." I said, "Sir, I got an E." And he said, "Yes, but that's what I predicted." I said, "But everybody else failed in the group." He said, "Yes, that's what I predicted." He was so happy that he'd predicted everybody failed and I would get an E. And that came true.
I mean, incidentally, the school that we went to is now closed.
It is. It was a terrible school.
Yeah. So you got an E. Well done. And that obviously impressed your teacher. Yeah. So what position or what insight do you have to bring us based on your E and A levels on economics?
Insight. I don't know about insight. I just learning economics. I felt like the conservative ideas around economics. Are better. The idea of market forces, the idea of promoting entrepreneurship, and if you do well, you get paid more. If you can move up a ladder.
So you're a more capitalist.
Yeah, again, a capitalist approach, a free market approach.
See, I would say the difference, to come back to your accusation previously with Liz Truss and Rishi Sunak, is a lot of policy. Obviously speak to outcomes, but it also speaks to motives. And I think Liz Truss's approach to the economy was to ultimately lift the lower downs through helping business thrive or business thrive. I think I'm more questioning over Rishi Sunak's motives, particularly hedge funder, his wife. What's it called? Domicile?
Yeah.
Like the fact that she pays no tax into the country and she's a massive earner. Do you have any issues with that?
Yeah, I guess I do. And I guess I don't really know. I don't know Liz Truss well enough. We haven't really been able to get to know her well enough.
I mean, she did a solid 6 weeks. And do you know that she's getting paid 17 grand as a, what's it called? Like a when someone steps out of a job, not a golden handshake, but like some sort of severance pay.
A severance. Wow.
So 17 grand severance pay, which Starmer's saying that she should decline.
Yeah, well, she should. And there's also the 130,000 a year for the
Yes.
rest of her life.
Yeah.
Should she decline that?
I read
think
that.
So. I think so. She probably could.
If you're a
She
prime
should.
minister and you come out of office, you get 130 grand
a year
forever. But isn't that specifically to do with costs associated to her being prime minister or something like that?
I don't know. I just feel like for 6 weeks, that's hardly earned her way there.
Well, I saw an interesting clip this week on the news. Rishi Sunak being interviewed probably when he was in his 20s, and he sat with his dad. And I don't really understand the context of the interview, but I think it was like this up-and-coming person moving through the ranks in the Conservative Party, filmed in the 90s. And
are you sure it was Rishi Sunak?
Yeah.
Okay.
How come?
Because I saw a similar one for the other guy, Rees Mogg.
No, this is Rishi Sunak.
Okay, all right.
And what's really funny is in the interview, Rishi Sunak is basically articulating this idea is for the people, that he's got friends up and down all tiers of society.
Okay.
He says he's friends with the upper class, he's friends with the middle class. And then he says, and I've got friends who are in the working class. And he says, no, sorry, I don't have friends in the working class. Corrects himself. And like literally his dad just there like sitting there awkward. Yeah. But interesting nonetheless. I don't know how you feel.
That's honesty. Come on.
Well, yeah, honesty, integrity. I guess. But I guess like for me, I wake up to this news and I'm like, I don't know whether I call it like political fatigue. I just don't know. I'm just so fed up and bored.
Yeah, you just kind of want them to get on with government.
Do it.
Stop playing. And
Do
get
it.
on with government. I don't know. There was something. Did you see the? I can't remember the American comedian who he was talking about Rishi Sunak and saying how in Britain there's been a real backlash because he's Asian.
Right. Okay.
I think actually no, there hasn't.
Yeah.
And that kind of this news report was saying.
Did you say he's American?
He's American comedian.
Exactly.
He was saying, oh, this new comedian. He's not even British.
Hindu. Yeah.
Nobody said that.
No, not one.
Nobody's even thought that.
Not
because
one.
He's just a.
As if the Americans can say anything about our state of society over here. Come on.
So I did feel kind of cross with them about that.
Yeah, good.
But actually, one thing, whether Rishi Sunak will be good, obviously it remains to be seen. Whether he'll last till Christmas, it remains.
Maybe we'll get 7 weeks out of this one. That'd be good.
Yeah, but everything has calmed down a little bit. It feels like the country and particularly the economy has kind of breathed a bit of a sigh of relief. Yeah. A little bit. And which is good for my pension fund, maybe.
All of your investments there. I mean, Rishi Sunak will probably do good for your pension fund, to be fair.
Well, I hope so, because it's taken a battering.
I mean, the truth is, no one's going to protest in London anymore because no one can afford a train ticket, is the bottom line. But it is what it is. And I kind of feel like it doesn't matter who's in power.
Yeah.
Nothing really changes, does it?
Come on.
So it is what it is. Right. But before we get into our conversation today, my thinking is we're going to talk about Halloween. Yeah. Obviously, Halloween tomorrow. Nice. What was that? Do that again. Okay. Sounds like a young horse having issues. Yeah. So we will be talking about Halloween and as to how, as Christians, maybe we should engage with it, if we should engage with it at all, whether we think that we should be protecting our children from participating in it. And I think often, I think in the UK, it's not as big as it is in America, but it seems to be catching up. I feel like it is becoming more of a thing. Yeah. It feels like Halloween decorations go up after Easter, and after Halloween's done, Christmas is out the bag and all this sort of stuff. But before we jump into that conversation today, I saw some cool things which I wanted to show you. And I guess I'm intrigued to know what you guys think at home of this. I saw this morning. And I thought, oh, that is so cool. So this is a guy who is a singer, got saved, like powerfully, radically saved, like a year ago. And God just told him, I want you to worship on the streets. And so he sets up him in a keyboarder, go out on the streets into massive cities like New York and stuff like that. Now, this is a bit of a classic song, but just check this out. He's got his headphones on. He's got one of these microphones that we use, and he's just belting it out for the kingdom. Check this out.
And I'm desperate for you.
Just people walking around him.
Oh yes I am. And I'm lost without you. Oh, and
what are your thoughts on that?
Wow, it's great.
It's pretty cool, isn't
I
it?
really like. I wouldn't kick him out of the worship team.
No,
He's
I
got
feel
a nice
like,
voice.
yeah, exactly. What I actually said, I prayed when I saw it. I said, Lord, if you give me a voice like that,
Yeah.
I will use it in Poole Town Centre.
Yeah, do
Every
it.
single Friday morning, I will go down there. Check this one out in New York, Times Square. I think it's Times Square.
I love you more than the likes I give. I love you more than the fame of it. I trade your presence for all of it. I trade your presence for all of it. So I'll leave the world behind, yeah. Pick up my cross and follow. And oh, I'm never turning back. Oh, I'm never turning back. I'll stay right beside you if all the world denies you. Oh, I'm never turning back. Yes, sir. Oh, I'm never turning back. I'll stay right beside you if all the world denies you. The cross before me, the world behind me. Just give me Jesus. All I want is Jesus. The cross before me, the world behind me. Just give me Jesus. All I want.
It's pretty cool, eh?
It's cool. I just
So
think it's
powerful.
interesting with the other guys just behind him.
I
having
know.
a coffee.
You're so right.
And not even watching. Just
Yeah.
But you know,
I'm
lifting
get-
it.
well, I've seen one in LA, and I've seen one. I think it was in Charlotte, and one in New York. And I guess what I was wondering is, I wonder what they're hearing.
Yeah,
'Cause there's
I
a
wonder
keyboard
what
there.
the quality of their
Yeah.
hearing, because we're hearing the direct audio.
Yeah.
And
Well, I think if I was a CEO at Shaw Microphones,
yeah.
I would be saying, "Can we use that?" Because
Yeah, yeah.
the sound quality is immense, isn't
is
it?
really- Actually, it does look like he's singing into a hairdryer. though.
It is a quite big
Big
cumbersome. But here we go. So here I'm trying to edit here, struggling massively to try and get the cameras right. But yeah, I saw that, and I thought what we should introduce is a segment called "What's Cool and What's Not," and I think
Okay.
that's a cool thing I've seen
That is
this
cool.
week. So
Yeah,
what's on social media?
It is cool. It wouldn't be cool if it was done badly, would it? Which, you know, it could be. You know, I guess if I went and did that, it might not.
Next week on Fire Mountain, Adam under the overpass near Poole train station,
Yeah.
belting one out for the kingdom. Okay, out of interest, if you were going to do it, what song would you choose?
Oh man, I tell you, the song that's actually it's been gripping me
Okay,
for a couple of years.
yeah,
And,
2 years.
and it's still
That's a
gripping
long
me now.
time. Yeah.
And in fact, we're doing it on. We're going to do it on Sunday. It's the song "So Will I."
Ah, yeah, great song.
Whether it would work like that, I don't know.
What, with you singing it or just in principle?
Yeah, definitely with me singing it, or just in that space. Because what I really like about the "So Will I" is the imagery and the video and
Yeah.
the whole
Yeah.
the whole thing kind of just.
Well, I was hoping, I put a request on his page on Instagram saying, can you send me a video of what everyone else is hearing and seeing?
Yeah.
As in, because I was just wondering, hopefully there's a foldback wedge so people can feel it and see it
yeah.
and stuff. But anyways, that's cool. That aside, I want to talk about Halloween today.
Yeah.
A significant kind of season in the calendar for the world's culture. Interesting because many Christians have differing views on it. And I feel like that loads of Christians are becoming more loosened to the idea that Halloween is a neutral thing that can be celebrated. Kids can go to parties dressed as, I don't know, Avengers heroes or maybe even skeletons or whatever. You're a dad, you're a pastor, you're a man of God. What are your thoughts on Halloween? And just for a disclaimer, I mentioned this to you about 30 minutes ago. So we are unscripted. That's how we roll on this, unscripted. We don't have a clue what's going to come out of our mouth. So what are your thoughts on Halloween?
Okay, I guess I feel like it's my thoughts around Halloween have probably softened somewhat. And now I'm wondering if that's a good thing, based on what you've just said.
Okay,
Is it a good thing that my thoughts around it? There was a time when we would be kind of at home, we'd turn all the lights out and hide, so that when trick-or-treaters came, we wouldn't have to kind of engage with
Shut the
it.
curtains.
Yeah. Like,
Put a
I'm talking a
sock
long
in the
time
dog's
ago.
mouth.
Yeah, quiet.
Shut up.
Pretend we're not in.
Shut up.
And the doorbell's going. Now we've got treats that we all give to kids who are coming round, and I think it's good to have a conversation. I think as a dad, it's good. It's a good opportunity to open up a conversation about these kinds of things, about what actually we are celebrating, and the occult and things like that. And our next door neighbour, in fact, I don't know if you've driven past our house recently. No. Our next door neighbour has got on their roof a chair, and on the chair is a dummy of Pennywise the clown.
Okay.
From the, I think it's It, is it? I haven't seen it,
Yeah.
But it's obviously it's a Halloween thing,
yeah.
and it's kind of freaky. So as we're pulling into our drive, we've got this thing overlooking our house.
Okay.
It's pretty grim, actually. It's pretty creepy, but I guess it's supposed to be. And I know our neighbours. We get on well with our neighbours, and her kids will definitely be coming round to our house, in costume, and we've got goodies ready to give them, and we use it as an opportunity to connect.
Okay, that's
with
cool.
neighbours.
I'm not so sure.
Yeah,
that's where I am.
Tell me about it.
I guess for me, I'm on social media, and some people I respect, pastors in America mostly, sending their kids to Halloween parties. Yeah. And I don't know, I just don't have a peace about it. I just feel like, no, so I think Jude, one of our kids, had an invite to go to someone's birthday landing on Halloween, and they were going to go do trick-or-treating and all that sort of stuff. And Louise rang me and said, what are your thoughts? I was like, immediately no. Like, definitely not. And I guess I was thinking, well, why is it not? Is this some sort of kind of generational thing that's just been handed on to me from my parents? And some people I follow on Instagram, and people who I respect have posted some thoughts on it, and I don't know. I'd like to run run a couple of things by you and see what your reflections are on this. Okay, so this is a Bible college lecturer, thinker, scholar almost, and this is some posts that he put up, and I'll read them to you. It says, the real bogeyman of Halloween is that some people somewhere in some darkened corner of the earth aren't pretending to be ghosts and goblins. And it is that paranoid and perpetual witch hunt that keeps Christians from being normal citizens in their own society, and that locks them into self-made subcultural catacombs. I don't believe my civilization has developed a pagan holiday called Halloween. My civilization doesn't have enough real pagans in it to even have their own holiday. My civilization is a Christian civilization. It is a Christian in its cultural essence and expression, and all of its deepest traditions are Christian, and they are no less Christian for being Catholic. The puritanical hatred of Halloween is the perfect example of righteous indignation in the wrong place, which has always been the mad mark of pure Puritanism. The word Halloween doesn't come from the serpentine rites of Satanism, nor was it invented as an incantation from the lips of an occultist. The word Halloween is of Scottish origin, typical Scottish, and as a Scotch word, it's simply a truncation of good English. In other words, instead of an Highlander saying All Saints' Eve, he would say All Halloween. To say that Halloween is spooky is to say that the Book of Revelation, with its bizarre beasts and dragons and human scorpions, is spooky. To say that Halloween emphasizes death and darkness is to say that it talks about two of the four last things that should be on our minds every day of our lives. To say that Halloween promotes evil is to say that children, who are probably the most sensitive souls on earth to evil, that they assure you lives under every bed and inside every closet, are for one night floating outside of their senses like ghosts. A phenomenal feat indeed. And finally, no, I do not believe we should hide in our homes on Halloween like you're speaking about. I believe we should participate in the pageantry of a public pantomime where all of the characters are like a play by Shakespeare, in brackets whom the Puritans also hated, working out their salvation with fear and trembling as well as joy and laughter.
Yeah, that's a point. That's a point of view, isn't it? I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't say we should be celebrating it like that. Okay. And I think probably if my children were invited to a Halloween party, they wouldn't go.
Yeah.
Definitely wouldn't.
Yeah.
But that's because I'm a follower of Jesus.
Yeah.
And there are lots of people who aren't followers of Jesus, and so there is some stuff in there that I think, I wouldn't kind of create a witch hunt about it. I wouldn't deny them their fun. I don't believe they're celebrating occultism.
Okay.
I think for most people they're just dressing up as
Witches.
witches and ghosts.
Which is a cultic, right?
Which again, I don't want my kids doing that.
Yeah.
But why would I put my standard on somebody who's not following Jesus?
Yeah. Yeah.
But
True.
that is saying that we should
Yeah,
be
yeah.
putting that.
And I guess that's a leap. I think for me, it's not about judging society, because sheep without a shepherd. Why would we expect them
to do
to
anything
have a different
different?
moral code if
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
what's fun? I guess for me, I want to get into the crux of how should we respond to it as Christians in terms of raising our own kids. And so obviously in your house, you've decided that you will participate to a measure, the dishing out of candy. You see, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
I would probably still go just sit in the back part of my house and just pretend we're not in. I wouldn't go and preach at the door either. And I guess I feel like that post, Gabriel Finocchio, by the way, from Theoshi, wrote, it's irrelevant to me where it comes from. It's what it is now that matters.
Yeah.
And so I think something that is so obviously dark in its practice, in the sense of its witches, its ghosts, it's things of a dark supernatural edge, isn't it? That are, people may not say celebrated, but what else is it? It's
Why would we go that? Why would we do that?
Why would we do that?
When you don't have to.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
I love the fact that we have a light party.
Yeah, that's right, and
And
that's
that
so
was
cool.
great. Yesterday they had a great time.
Yeah.
Why would we celebrate those dark things?
Yeah.
When we don't have to. Do you think it comes down to a matter of conscience? 1 Corinthians 10, Paul's talking about eating food, and he says, it doesn't matter if you eat food sacrificed to idols if you because you're saved.
Yeah.
And it's not a thing.
I
And
guess
do you think-
what I think is, and spoke about this briefly at Paul Campus, because I'm thinking about culture this week as we land Dream Builders at Paul Campus, and for me, it's this false notion that the more we assimilate into culture, the stronger our missional advantage becomes.
Yeah.
So the ditches we don't need to die in, we shouldn't die in, because it creates a barrier.
Yeah.
And I guess for me, I'm thinking that the opposite is true.
Yeah.
That it's the more we stand out from culture, is the stronger our missional advantage becomes.
Yes.
The more that
Yeah.
people can look at us and go, even if they think we're dorks, even if they think we're losers,
Yeah.
it's more of a missional benefit
Yeah.
than us just being kind of just like our neighbours or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, do you the premise that is it Nathan Finocchio?
Gabriel Finocchio, his brother.
His brother. Okay.
Yeah.
Gabriel Finocchio. His premise that it's a Christian country. I guess he's talking about America.
Yeah.
I think it's probably the wrong premise.
Yeah.
Like no, it's not.
Yeah.
There are Christians within it, but it's definitely maybe it was once upon a time.
Yeah.
Maybe you could have called it that. Same here. We could have called it a Christian country once upon a time. I don't think we can call it that now.
No.
And so I think you're right. We need to stand out. And Paul to the Colossians, when he says, "Set your hearts on things above."
Yeah.
And then he says, set your minds on things above. I was looking at this last week, actually. I brought it into my message. And those 4 words, set your hearts on, it's great. It's like work towards or even build towards.
Yeah, cool.
And then set your minds on. It's like think about, dream about.
Think
And the whole dream builders, the whole, think, do and build and dream.
Yeah.
On things above, on the heavenlies, where, that's where our citizenship is in heaven.
So
and
good.
that's what why would we choose to pull it back down to earth and dream and build or and think about things that are of this world rather than things that are in the heavenlies. So
So good.
I think that would be my stance on it.
Yeah.
And I think probably we would agree, although if a kid comes round our house, we're going to wish them well.
Yeah.
And give them
That's just a bit tight.
celebration.
It's not because of Halloween, it's 'cause we don't give candy out. But just that verse you just said, Ephesians 5. So here's a thought. Where is it? It says, "You were once in darkness, but now you are light in the Lord. Live as children of the light. For the fruit of light consists in all goodness, righteousness, and truth." And it says, "And find out what pleases the Lord. Have nothing to do with fruitless deeds of darkness, but rather expose them."
Yeah.
And even flee from the appearance of evil. Now, people might say that's just a Bible zealot that is being literalist here, and you're not really capturing the principle. But I think when it comes to culture, and I think we've spoken about this on Fire Mountain before, that we have to deal with culture in one of 3 ways as Christians. Like, we have to have a filter on which we assess something, do we participate in that or not?
Yeah.
And I think, just holding my hands up, I think I participate in far too much. So I'm not coming from this like I'm smashing these God goals here.
Yeah.
But I think it's the 3 R's. Can we receive this part of culture?
Yeah.
into and assimilate it into our life, must I reject this part of culture,
Yeah.
or can I redeem this part of culture?
Yeah.
You know, those three aspects. Can I receive it, reject it, or redeem it? And I think in some ways, you know, the light party is us trying to redeem
Yes.
something.
Yes.
Using this opportunity where maybe families are more inclined to go to a party, and maybe some parents are on the fence as to whether they want their kid to go to dressed as a witch or whatever, that there's another option that we're trying to redeem for the purpose of God, for the purposes of God or whatever.
Yeah.
But I do think that, like, for me, it's much bigger than Halloween, actually. It actually started, in my experience, in a nightclub chaplaincy years ago, where I was watching Christians going nightclubbing, and I hung out as
Were you a
part of
chaplain in a
no,
nightclub?
I wasn't a chaplain. I did
okay.
it as part of a placement thing, just
Uh-huh.
for a season, and but they were drinking and they were smoking
Yeah.
and they were Christians, right?
Yeah.
And I remember thinking at the time, I was like, you look exactly like them. And Sam Monk says this great thing. It says that if you look like the city, you can't reach the city.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's right.
And I think this idea that, like, we so want to be accepted, so want to be cool, so want to be kind of like accessible and relatable, that actually we compromise on so many factors, to the point where I think we are shaped more by the culture of the world, and in this instance with Halloween, softened to something
Yeah.
that actually we should be like you're right. It's not about going out and trying to preach to them and trying to, although maybe that is right, but it's not about trying to judge them or whatever. But as far as we're concerned as Christians, surely we live by another ethos. And
Yeah. It's funny, I've been thinking about, as a child, I remember my parents not allowing me
yeah,
to do things. I think I was in infant school and they were doing a skeleton dance.
okay,
And I wanted
Yeah.
to be part of the skeleton dance,
Yeah.
but my mum said I couldn't be, so I had to go and read a book in the corner
yeah.
while they were. I
Yeah.
guess you probably had
I always got taken out for certain
Taken
things.
out those,
assemblies, Halloween assemblies. Yeah,
those things. And actually thinking about, I'm actually grateful
yeah,
because they had integrity. That this is what they believed, whether it was right or whether you kind of come from the point of view of Gabriel Finocchio there. It's honest and it's integrity, and
Yeah.
this is what they believe, and that's what they lived out.
yeah,
And I think at the very least, that's what I can take from it.
yes,
To
Yep.
to be a parent who says one thing and does the same thing,
yeah.
rather than who says one thing but actually, when the opportunity comes up to do something different, I do that.
Definitely, yeah.
And
Yeah, that's so good. Such a great point. And I just love, really captures that essence of what Paul says in the scriptures, to shine like the stars. And you can only do that when you're different to the darkness.
yeah.
And so, obviously, I'm sure you guys may have some different thoughts at home. Our encouragement to you isn't just to kind of go along with what we say and even go along with what you see on social media from people you even respect, but actually to look into it yourself and think about what's the culture we want to establish in our home. I love that saying, which is like the river without banks becomes a swamp.
Yeah.
And I think that speaks to the ethos and the values we want to embed in our families. I don't know if you've got any closing thoughts to encourage people with as they go away and think
I guess
about
I
this.
just feel like if you're a parent, you should do what Dom said. You should look into it, make a decision about it, decide where you sit, and then be consistent with that. And use this as an opportunity to talk to your children. If you're happy to go along with it and to let them dress up in those things, I guess I would say that's okay, because that's your decision. But talk to them about what it means and why you're letting them do it, and and maybe talk about a little bit about the background and where the dangers are in it, and about where the dangers are celebrating the darkness can be. So it's an opportunity, and I would encourage you to use it as such.
It's so good, and I guess to just kind of highlight my hypocritical ways and manner, because it does come to this conscience and conviction matter, doesn't it? It really
does.
matters,
Yeah,
like you say. Because on the one hand, we do the Santa thing with our kids, but then we don't do the Halloween thing with our kids, and obviously both are born of the world, and so it does matter that you have a conscience and convictions, and that you don't just dull those in order to assimilate into what the world says is good and normal. So Adam, will you pray for every person watching, even if they got, whether they're parents or not, just that they would, I guess, go into this week just with their eyes on things above.
Yes, Lord God, we do thank you for the opportunity to discuss these things. We thank you for your truth. Lord, we know that you are the way, you are the truth, and you are the life. And I pray that this would be a great opportunity this week to get closer to you. Lord God, that you would give everybody wisdom as we kind of get through the next couple of days, the wisdom to discern your purposes and your calling on our lives.
Amen.
I pray for the parents that they would have great conversations with children. Lord, I pray for communities that they would become closer, that this would be an opportunity to get closer to your neighbor. Lord, that we would be the difference, that we would set our hearts on things above, we would set our minds on things above, and we would be the difference in this world. And also, Lord God, I pray for our government. Lord, give them wisdom and give them the idea that they might want to govern for a change. Lord God, I pray that they would just do well by this country. Amen. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. So thanks for tuning in this evening. We do hope you have a great week, and we're going to leave you with this closing thought.
I love you more than the likes I give. I love you more than the fame of it. I trade your presence for all of it. I trade your presence for all of it. So I'll leave the world behind, yeah. Pick up my cross and follow. And oh, I'm never turning back. Oh, I'm never turning back. I'll stay right beside you. If all the world denies you, oh, I'm never turning back. Yes, sir. Oh, I'm never turning back. I'll stay right beside you. If all the world denies you, the cross